Hi everyone. This week's Torah portion is Parshas Ki Savo. It begins by saying, Ki Savo el haaretz asher Hashem Elokecha nosein lach. When you come to the land that God is going to give you. What are we supposed to do when we get there? The Torah continues to explain that we are supposed to start with the mitzvah of bikurim, which is bringing the first fruits to the holy temple. We put it in a beautiful basket and took it as an offering to God to show our gratitude for the bounty that we have. The Sifri, which is a book of legal exegesis on the Torah, explains that it was in the merit of this mitzvah that we were able to come into the land of Israel. But that doesn't really make a lot of sense because it's a mitzvah that can only be done once we're in the land of Israel. So it's kind of like that job, that entry-level position that you can only get if you have 5 years worth of experience, but you can't get 5 years worth of experience if you don't first get that entry-level position. Like, what is happening here? It's explained to us that the whole point of Bikurim was gratitude. And the gratitude wasn't supposed to start once they got into the land of Israel. The Jews were supposed to have gratitude for the 40 years worth of being taken care of in the desert, for the 10 plagues in Egypt, for everything that God had already done for them. Later on in the Parsha, we're told something very cryptic. God says through Moses that I didn't give you a heart to understand, eyes to see, and ears to hear until this very day. What does that mean? The Jews were about to leave this miraculous existence that they experienced while they were in the desert and go into Israel. And this put them in a bad position for two reasons. Number one, it could lead them to start believing that everything was because of them. They crossed that threshold into Israel and God stayed on the other side of the Jordan. And now it's all me. I grew this, I built that, I did everything, and God's not a part of it. Or they could have ended up turning to serving the gods of nature, the god of the sun, the god of the moon, the god of the rain, whatever it was, because they didn't see God's obviousness. The miracles weren't forthcoming in the big way that they had been in the desert. So this was a bit of an issue, but it's a very important thing for us to remember and for the Jews to have learned, and this is part of what God was trying to explain to them, that even if it's not obvious and open, it's still God. I don't remember who said it, but it was a beautiful thing to say that if miracles are the hands of God, nature is just God's glove. There's a story of the Chafetz Chaim that he was traveling. He was a great rabbi, and he was traveling and he stopped at an inn. And the innkeeper said to the Chafetz Chaim, why don't we have miracles the same way that they did in the Bible? If there were miracles, it would be so easy for me to believe. And the Chafetz Chaim said to him, you know what, I need a few minutes to think of a good answer for that, or I just want to formulate. And in the meantime, the innkeeper's daughter came into the inn, and she was so excited because she had this little certificate that she had memorized these 15 poems, and she recited them to her teacher, and it was stamped and certified she knows these 15 poems off by heart. So the Chafetz Chaim turns to the little girl and says to her, will you please recite the poems for me? And the girl says, oh, no. And he asks her again, please, can you please recite the poems for me? I want to see that you know them off by heart. She said, no. So he turned to the innkeeper and said, can you please tell your daughter to recite for me the poems that she obviously knows? And the innkeeper tried, and the daughter says, no, I have a certificate. My teacher listened to me. She gave me a certificate. She stamped it that I know these off by heart. She heard me. I don't have to prove it to anyone else. And the Chafetz Chaim turned to the innkeeper and said, it's kind of the same thing. We don't have these miracles, these big open miracles anymore, but we have that certificate, we have the document, we have the Torah that shows us all the times that it happened. And God doesn't need to be proving himself to us in that big way each and every day. But we have to remember that the everyday miracles that happen, those are miracles just the same. And this end part of the Parsha ties into the beginning. It's all about the gratitude. We have to be able to see that when we're able to succeed, yes, we put our work into it the same way that the farmers put their work into the Bikurim, but it's God that blesses our efforts and makes us successful. So I wish everybody a beautiful Shabbos and a year ahead where we all get to see both the hand and the glove of God in everything that we do. Take care and have a beautiful day.